Did you know that your body is constantly whispering to you? So if you're listening and watching and observing enough, you can start to understand the patterns and expressions of your body. So one of the things that we're trained to do is to really look and listen to people to find out where the imbalances may lie. But the best thing is if you learn to actually do this yourself, then you can start to understand your own body and what it's trying to tell you. So we need to use all our senses for this. We need to use our eyes so we can look at key parts of our body. We need to be able to use our sense of smell and smell body secretions. And we also need to listening to the words that we're speaking to find out if we're stuck in a negative pattern or whether we're speaking quite positive words. So some of the external observations can be your nails. So nails can show us key nutrient deficiencies. So if the nails are quite striated, which means there's the horizontal lines going all the way down the nails, it can show imbalances in some of the B vitamins. White spots on the nails, if it's not due to trauma, can actually be showing zinc imbalances. It's not necessarily calcium. The area that goes around the nails, so the skin closest to the nail bed, can show your essential fatty acid status. So we need lots of good fats. And one of the first things that I look at if people say to me that they feel dehydrated yet they're drinking loads of water, and I'm seeing that the tongue is swollen, in fact that's another sign I'll talk about, then I look at the nails, because if the cuticles are red and swollen, it shows me that the body hasn't got the capacity to absorb the water. So usually this is due to not enough fats in the body. So I like to think of it as how oil and water don't mix. So if you have enough essential fatty acids from your oily fish like salmon, mackerel, anchovy, sardine, herring, and then things like avocado and olives and coconuts, these sorts of oily foods sit within the tissues, and if you imagine it resting in the tissues, it holds the water in place because the two don't mix. The other thing that we need though is electrolytes. So minerals, these actually come from really good quality Himalayan salt, and you also find coconut water contains electrolytes. So the nails can show us a lot. If they're obviously dry as well, that can indicate there's a need for essential fats. And looking at the tissues as well, so moving up the nails towards the fingers, do the fingers appear swollen? Are your rings getting tight? Is there a watch mark? What about down at your ankles? Are there sock marks? So this shows us that the tissues are holding fluid, and what the body is trying to whisper to you is that it needs hydration in the right form. So again, it comes down to water, the Himalayan salt, using a technique we call Sole, that's S-O-L-E, if you want to look it up, and again, the essential fatty acids. The tongue and its coating can tell us a lot. So get a mirror and go and have a look at your tongue. Is it a nice healthy pink, or is it quite pale, or is it actually quite deep red? So this tells us the health of the bodily fluids. So a very pale tongue can indicate iron imbalances and almost what we'd call, I guess, sluggish blood. So it doesn't literally mean that the blood is moving too slowly around the body, but it does mean that there isn't the vitality there, and the red blood cells may not be the right sort of quality we're after. If it's very deep red, it shows us lots of heat in the body, and heat tends to come from a congested colon or a liver that's perhaps a little overwhelmed. We're looking at the tongue coating. So if there's a thick white coating, it can lead to thoughts of fungal overgrowth such as candida. And if it's more of a yellow coating, it can mean more to do with liver and gallbladder imbalances. Now your face can also tell us quite a lot. So whilst talking to you, a practitioner will be observing your face to see where there could be changes in colour, or even where there could be some spots or markings. So facial analysis is fascinating, and this is one of the body whispers. So if you have lots of little lines across the forehead, that can indicate imbalances in the large intestine. So think of your Gordon Ramsay's and his forehead. So large intestine imbalances, one big solid line tends to be more to do with the small intestine. If there's a single little line coming down the forehead, just single one, that's more to do with stomach imbalances. We can also see a single line coming down the tongue as well. It just shows a general weakness in the stomach acids and a need for more bitter and sour foods. If you have the two lines like I was able to get then, that can again indicate liver gallbladder imbalances. Again, we need bitter foods, we need apple cider vinegar. The chin area tends to relate to the colon, so if you're breaking out specifically around the chin, I'd consider colon cleansing. If it's more around the cheeks, it's more hormonal imbalances. Observing your body and listening in this way and checking your breath, checking body secretions for different odours can actually tell such a lot. And if you start to track what's happening in your body, it actually gets really exciting when you start to notice changes. So I always try to educate my clients on what the tongue looks like, what we want it to look like, what the nails are telling me, and what we want it to be like. And as people start to see these changes, they get really excited about improving their health. So I personally think natural health is all about empowerment. These simple techniques are things that you can easily do yourself at home. It doesn't need to be, hard or tiresome or difficult in any way. It's the daily practices that lead up to abundant vitality. And listening to your body along the way and making adjustments is vital. So for some clients, we need to take them off key foods. If the tongue is very, very red, we actually may be taking people off meat and fish. If the tongue is very pale, we may be adding that in. And the body whispers change at different periods in your life. So again, it's listening to your body and finding out what your needs are at that time, because it will change all the time. There's no set routine each day for each person. We're all beautifully unique. That's the good thing. So if you'd like a consultation, if you'd like to find out what your body whispers are and you'd like to learn how to observe yourself, do book in with us for a personalised screening. And during this time, we'll also assess you using the Health Detective and find out what your nutritional imbalances are, whether there's any food sensitivities, and whether there's any hormonal imbalances.